very good morning to all of you and welcome to the book club. And this is our last book review session for this season before we break up for summer. Today we have Master Vinod. And Master Vinod, could you please introduce yourself in few lines before you take us into the book review session? Thank you, sir.
Sure. Thank you so much, Minaji. Firstly, wish all of you a very, very happy Guru Purnima. My name is Vinod. I took up meditation, I would say 6 months ago, roughly, and I live in the UK, and I'm an IT professional by trade. So yeah, it's been a wonderful journey so far. A lot of learning, a lot of uncovering, a lot of undoing as well. So yeah, that's been my brief journey so far.
Yes, please. Thank you. Could you please start your book review session? That's a
Okay.
wonderful book.
Indeed, it is a brilliant book, absolutely. So I will show the book in a bit. So let me share my screen first. You can do the usual checks whether the screen share works or not. Okay, hopefully you can see the screen now. Okay, hopefully everyone can see the title page. Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Right, so we have the wonderful book, 1,000 Seeds of Joy. And as I've mentioned, a small note of thanks to the authors. So again, thanks again, Minaji, for running this book club, and also the hardworking team behind the scenes, making all the wonderful events happen. So I think let's talk a little bit about the authors of this book.
Master?
So,
sorry.
yeah.
Can you please turn on your lights? We can't see you.
Oh, can you not? Okay. I think the lighting in this particular room is a little bit poor. Is it any better, or do you want me to move locations?
No, yeah, we can see you, but yeah, if it takes time, that's fine. We can continue.
Okay, yeah, that's yeah. Or let me know. I can go into a different location. Is that better? Do you want me to do that?
Yeah, just continue. That's fine. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Okay, great. So the author is the main author of this book is Ananda Karunesh, and that's his spiritual name. He's working as a professor in one of the popular US universities, and yeah, he's done 25 years of meditation before he was inspired to write this book. And Jade Kamala Devi is his soul friend, as the author describes himself. And yeah, so I think he had a wonderful Zen type of an awakening at when he was sort of 19 years old. So before we properly get into the books, let's try and answer a really simple question. I think we can probably take a couple of questions, a couple of answers on the chat window. What do you think, is the answer to this? Why is the Bhagavad Gita regarded so highly? We'll probably spend, maybe 10-15 seconds. Any quick responses on the chat, we can take a look. I am trying to open up chat as well, just to see if anyone's responding on that one. It has all answers to the questions of this life. Excellent. Keep coming. Some more answers, maybe one or two more, and then we'll I'll give my perspective on this. Okay, I think it talks about karma. It teaches the way of living. Brilliant. Considered as a dialogue with God, and hence revered. So I mean, all of those wonderful answers, no doubt. There's no question about it. All of those, all the above are true, very true. So the one that particularly struck me when I was reading this is the Bhagavad Gita was directly given to us by the Lord Himself, came from the Lord Krishna's mouth Himself, um, which is why I was I felt inspired to do a brave sort of comparison between the Bhagavad Gita and and the and this book, right? So that is the book you're seeing, the title, and the main the scribe, or the person writing it, is the author, but all the questions have been answered directly by the divine Mother Lakshmi, Mother Saraswati. When I go into the different topics, I may start to use Lakshmi Ma, Saraswati Ma, and all that. So it's all one and the same. If you're not familiar with either of those goddesses, please do let me know. I can do a little bit of an introduction, but if you're all right, then we can crack on. Okay. So the one thing I want to highlight on this slide is that the word Maha, the author really tries to emphasize that. That's because Maha will probably translate into great loosely within English, but the author wants to clearly make a point that Maha means actually ascension. So people, we can put ourselves in their shoes, and the more you ascend, then that's when you become really a Maha. So the word has a significant meaning there. We'll uncover more and more of those things. And again, just a little bit of introduction about all these conversations. They started 10 years ago, and it was not on day one that that the author was given permission to go ahead and publish. The author was asked to keep those conversations close to his heart, build on them, grow on them, feel them, and only then, after some time, eventually, then the then he got the permission to go ahead and publish. Okay. So as such, the topics that I'm going to cover in this book are not in any particular order. This is an ocean. This is an absolute ocean. So this is this is for you to go away and take the nectar in slowly, as per your convenience. So I will present the topics that probably I was connected to more. So it's purely, my take on it. I may have missed some really wonderful topics in here, but it's all everyone's individual exploration of the book, really. Okay, so there's lots of stories, lots of facts, lots of explanations in the book. So it's a wonderful question and answer type of conversation. Who wouldn't love a question and answer type of conversations with with someone like Mother Lakshmi, Mother Saraswati, right? So let's get into the book a bit more. The other point that I want to highlight is that this is not the author's creative product. It's knowledge imparted to him in a very direct conversation. Okay. Okay. So now, just a quick check before we assume, oh, it's all wonderful. So was the author dreaming that he was having these wonderful conversations with Mother Lakshmi and Mother Saraswati? Thankfully, he was not, and the proof, or just it's more like building the context, really. So one of the author's friends is Amy. She's I would say she's kind of spiritually gifted, and the author had to go to a Halloween party, and before going there, by the time he had established that wonderful connection with Mother Lakshmi, and he asked Mother Lakshmi in a semi-devotional way whether she can accompany him to the party. and then he didn't worry so much about it. He asked, and then he went. And at the party, when by the fire, this lady Amy, she saw a wonderful woman, beautiful woman. She was enamored by the beauty of it, and you've got to understand this. Women enamored by the beauty of other women, that should mean something, right? So she walked towards that woman closely, and she saw her morph into this author suddenly. So all of that happened in a flash, and then the words that came out of Amy's mouth are, you are a goddess. So she wrote a beautiful note in the book as well. So the author actually requested Mother Lakshmi to come along to the party, and she did turn up. And she only made herself available for Amy to see, because Amy was probably at that level of receptivity. Okay, that's just a bit of an introduction, really. Okay. Now, just to, because we'll talk about quite a few characters, and I think you may notice that I'm probably focusing more on Mother Lakshmi in this book. That's purely because of the topics that I've read, and the topics that I've connected to. That's all it is. But there are absolutely wonderful answers given by Mother Saraswati as well. Very, very intellectual, and you lot practical as well, at so many levels. We'll see if there is more time there. Okay. The type of human incarnations on Earth, I just want to be specific. These are human incarnations on Earth, taken by Mother Lakshmi. Okay. So as Sita Devi, most of you would know Sita from Ramayana, Sita with Rama, and Rukmini with Krishna, Radha with Krishna. And this was a bit of a surprise to me. I did not know that earlier. So Draupadi as well. We'll get into a bit more detail with Draupadi's journey. Yashodhara with the Buddha. So these are just a few incarnations. Okay, there are so many other incarnations of Saraswati Ma as well, which if time permits, I can cover those. So let's take a look at the next bit of journey. Okay, now this is obviously an image of spinach. We'll talk about why I put this. So chakras and humanity. Now the author, there's a lot of discussion on chakras in this book. There are some really practical points in the book as well about chakras. What is first chakra, second chakra, and all that. So now I can't go into too much detail on all of those, but the author asks a really powerful question: where is the humanity stuck today, or where are people individually stuck in their lives, most of them? And the answer is 80% of the human population today on the earth are stuck in their very first chakra. Okay, so only 20%, they're probably making advances in this journey. And Mother Lakshmi gives us a really good tip. Eating green leafy vegetables will help us transcend the first chakra, amongst other things. You still got to put up your good behavior. There's no running away from that. Okay, and that's all, because the first chakra is all about health, security, basics. So yeah. So now let's change gears and look at a bit more deeper things. So this is probably the most important points of the book, and also happen to be more complex aspects of the book as well. So I'll try and cover some of these aspects. So if I don't cover, then that'll be injustice to the book. So hopefully some of you will at least remember the Me Too movement that brought about quite a few male people into calling out their their bad deeds back in the day, right? So this is purely an act of women coming out to support women, and that too without any violence, purely by social media and being out there to support other women. So that's, in a way, that is also a rise of the divine feminine. So the author here talks about, because of the timing, because of the events unfolded, now Earth is going through this wonderful journey of moving into wonderful times. Author also used the words, transitioning into Satya Yuga from the Kali Yuga. Okay, so for such a spiritual transition from a yuga to happen, you need a lot of events and all these things. Slowly, the blessings are there. That's what the author is saying. The blessings are there. All the goddesses are holding the earth in a circle of love, if you like. So a lot of support is becoming available, and which is when you'll start to see more and more feminine aspects coming into picture. When I say feminine, let's all be very clear. Everybody, men and women, both have wonderful feminine and masculine aspects. Now, just a little bit about the wounded feminine, or the wounded masculine. You may have seen some women at work or any other places trying to pretend to be men, uh, because of the societal norms, because how the society expects people to behave in some situations, or even the way we try to define success as well. So a lot of things, and these women are, they kind of move away from their wonderful blissful nature, and they try to put on a different mask, and they try to do things which are probably slightly unnatural, but they can absolutely succeed in wonderful, in their own ways. Okay, so a lot of awareness is happening. Similarly, men, yeah, in this case, I seriously do must blame men for one of the horrible things that they've probably done in the past. Again, none of the it's not their bad intentions, but it's just the level of awareness that's what drove them to do some of those things. Okay, so what is that I'm talking about? Some manipulations on wonderful scriptures and epics. Would you believe, the Ramayana has been edited over time, and some additions were made, and not all those additions were correct, and some divine energies have been employed to try and correct some of those. So just to give you an example, um, Maharshi Valmiki, he took another incarnation as Tulsi Das to come back into earth and remember what he initially wrote. And the Ramcharitmanas eventually came out. But even then, Mother Lakshmi says, Tulsi Das, in his human incarnation, he could not still remember what all went through in those times, or what was the original version of it. So some manipulations have happened. It's worth noting. Many places in the book, Mother Lakshmi clearly says this has been manipulated, that has been manipulated, because of the very patriarchal system. Okay, again, patriarchal system. What is the downside? It's all about seeking more and more power. That's what it is really. And this whole book is all about transitioning into a wonderful, more blissful state, really, where people are not judged unnecessarily, and there's more love. And the author talks about lots of wonderful soul feelings as well. Um, so the soul feelings are, things like, you can name them easily. Creativity, joy, laughter, bliss, compassion, empathy, sympathy, and all these things. But but our own, limited feelings are always, are about the mind. The mind would be extremely limited when it is doing any of the thinking. Actually, the author tries to compare soul feelings versus emotional feelings. Soul feelings are infinite, emotional feelings are finite. Yeah. I don't need to name all the emotional feelings. You will know what they are. Greed, for example, certainly many people will relate to that. Okay, so that's a lot on this topic, and it is, it might feel a bit of a more of a theory. We'll go into some questions to try and build on this subject a bit more. Okay, as I said, there are this is all about, questions and answers, and one question leads to another. So when I was reading the book, when you read the question asked by the author, and when you're reading the answer given by Mother Lakshmi, then naturally as a reader, you also tend to have some questions, and generally, some of those questions are asked in the next page. So it's quite convenient in that fashion. Okay, so what is this? This is about birthing of universes as a whole, right? um, so one of the questions asked by author, and the answer to that is, Mother Lakshmi says, a divine union between Mother Lakshmi and Vishnu gave birth to some universes. And she then clarifies, it's not your universe, some of the universe. Okay, so this is all just to give an example of the scale of the process here. Divine union, not as we know it at a human level, or a limited mind level, but this is all about divine union can give rise to the birth of universes. There are so many out there. That's again, very clearly said in the book. So many universes. And um, and and the wonderful thing is that Mother Lakshmi says, one day you will realize you can create universes too. So it's not like we are far away from all these things. You know. Uh, then let's also now try and look at um, soul cycle. Okay, I tried to create this slightly more of a scientific, or partly uh, child's science type of a diagram, but I'll try and explain what it is. So it's it's more about why does the soul, when it is part of divine consciousness, when there is nothing, when it's all within the oneness consciousness, why does the soul even want to take a birth somewhere else? The answer to that is, you don't have any reference point. When you are in a blissful state, you don't know where you are. How do you know where you are? How do you know how wonderful you are? Is you need a reference point. You need to see the contrast to know how wonderful, where you were initially, right? So that desire for contrast is all the reason for taking so many lifetimes, soul trying to individuate from the oneness consciousness, and then trying to experience contrast. So here, uh, if you see here, the sort of standard line, there is no descent here. So initially, when the soul tries to individuate, it's all about heart and blissful state. It's in a wonderful state. But when it tries to experience the lower vibrations, it doesn't happen instantly. There's a lot of inertia to actually fall down, fall flat straight away. It doesn't happen like this. So it will try and linger around in that wonderful states, but actually the soul is actually desiring to have
Time
lower.
పండిస్తారా
Sorry.
మెయిన్ అయినా
Okay. Sorry, Anuradha. Yeah. Okay.
ఇవ్వనా
So
మెసేజ్ పంపి
uh,
So,
Meena ji, could you?
yeah,
Yeah,
please
yeah.
go.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So the soul is still lingering around, and when I say soul in a human body, it's still lingering around in this blissful state, and then after some time it will start to face more and more um, lower vibrations, and then it'll start to come down, and then the same thing happens unfortunately at the other side of it. When the soul is ready to go up, uh, there is still a lot of inertia. There's a lot of struggle. You get stuck in this world because you don't have memory of where you came from. You get stuck in this low vibration, and only after some time then slowly you start to ascend. Okay, so that's a little bit about the soul cycle. um, Now I think we'll talk about the soul cycle again, but in the light of Pandavas and Kauravas. I will try and rush through this one just in terms of time. Yeah, this is a lot about Draupadi. Um, so Lakshmi, Mother Lakshmi in Draupadi's form, she's trying to remember a lot of events, and she's giving us some account of all those things. So she says the Pandavas were new souls directly coming from divine consciousness straight away in that particular lifetime. So which is why they found a lot of they had a lot of struggle to see the bad nature of the Kauravas. But on the other side, Kauravas were they had hundreds of lifetimes. So they were probably somewhere here, which means they were consistent here in the lower vibrations. But here, when they're struggling a little bit to understand what is bad, what is good, for them everything is good. They had so much love for Kauravas as well. It's funny, visualizing this type of a narrative, rather than seeing, oh, they're good, bad, they're good versus bad. But the good here are actually struggling to even perceive anything that is a lower vibration. um, for them it's almost like, why should people be bad at all? So that's their state of mind. Um, so when a new soul arrives on earth, it lives more from its heart and the higher chakras, and the karma does not accumulate so much in their lower chakras. But as you take more and more births, that's when the karma starts to get accumulate, and then you will undo that karma and eventually move from towards ascension. Okay. So that's just a little bit about Lakshmi in Draupadi, incarnation, if you like. So a simple question and answer. Can every soul become a divine being? Absolutely. That is the final destiny of all the souls, right? So let's try and go into another topic. Again, this is again a lot about Draupadi as well. So this one is probably something that touched me really at the core. I felt really so much for Karna reading this book, and again, when I had discussions with my wife at home as well, when we were sharing. Again, this is something which very much touched me. So this is so we all know what happened. Karna fought on the side of Kauravas, and yeah, he died in that war. So it's important now to understand the difference between the Pandavas, the rest of them, and Karna. The five Pandavas, they were in their very first cycle of human incarnation, if you like. They came straight from the gods in that particular lifetime. But Karna, he had a lot more experience. He also came from that, divine soul groups, if you like. He had some good number of lifetimes, and then he was almost, if you like, this whole stage was set for him. The war of Mahabharata, and a lot of all these things were set for him, if you like. He was the hero that wasn't. So it was mind blowing when I read this. Uh, so the background to this is the author asks Mother Lakshmi, so when you say soul cycle and all these things, so it seems like everybody is only simply following what they're destined to, meaning, just simply following their soul contract, or what comes in their soul path. The Mother Lakshmi says, yes, most people will loosely follow what is in that path. And in this case, Draupadi did a lot of help to the Pandavas by downloading messages from Lord Krishna um, on the physical plane. And then coming to the Karna's story, it's also just worth noting. You will probably visualize this classic scene um, where Draupadi was dragged into the center of the court by Duryodhana's brother Dushasana, and what happened, undoing of a vastra, clothes. So at that very moment, if you picturize what was going on in Karna's mind and what was going on in Draupadi's mind, I mean, we all know this from what Bhima thought about it, but what was going on in the mind of Draupadi? Or let me give you what Karna was thinking at the time. Uh, Draupadi asked everybody in the court. She gave every man a chance to try and avoid this whole situation. Bhishma, Drona, so many other people, but she did not ask Karna, and that certainly hit his ego really badly. And why did it hit him so hard? Back a few years back, in the Swayamvara of Draupadi, and again, it was a specific direction given to Draupadi to say no to Karna being Karna taking participation in that Swayamvara. And when that happened, that had hurt his ego at that time. But now, after a few more years, similar situation is happening, and again, Draupadi did not ask for his help. Now, he was his behavior right at that time? The stage was set. When I say the stage was set for him to, get enlightened on that very day. And all he had to do was forgive Draupadi whatever she had done in her physical form, and look at the current situation, and see what is fair or unfair. Even though she did not ask for his particular help, she asked everybody. She did not ask. Again, why did she do this? All of these, again, this is all because the stage was set for him to get enlightened. So so much of divine help is available, and are we actually making the use of it is the question. Which is why the ego can be really costly. And on that day, what did Karna do? Karna did not step in to help, but wish he had come in to help. That would have been a completely different story. If he had stepped in, then the Mahabharata war would have been quite different, right? Because on that very day he would have been enlightened to at least a few higher level chakras. And then after that time, then the Mahabharata war would have happened with Pandavas, and Pandavas would have had Karna being their main leader, and the war would have been done in 11 days instead of 18 days. So all of this detail is in the book, a lot of it, but it's all about even though somebody is hurting you deliberately, but what about your own conscience? Is there a chance for you to evolve beyond the limited emotional feelings and go into the soul feelings? A woman is there and being troubled by for no reason, right? So what should a great person like Karna do at that time? That's a little bit about Karna. And yeah. So that's how costly the ego can be, and eventually he did get enlightened, but after during the war and all that, so he had to take a complex path. That's what I wanted to say on Karna. So Meenaji, am I okay on time for 5 more minutes?
Yeah, sure. Please go on.
Okay, thank you. So this is again a question now asked by the author to Mother Lakshmi. So are we equal? Answer is absolutely yes. The curtain is being pulled back finally. A portion of your infinite soul falls to experience that which is not. Like I said, the contrast. There is a desire to experience the contrast. So some souls may experience less contrast or more, but more or less you would experience enough contrast over multiple lifetimes. The experiencing of contrast allows a soul to experientially know that which is not, which means you go back to that wonderful divine feeling of emptiness or nothingness. And also, Lakshmi says, not only are you divine beings, but you will also grow into even higher divine beings as expansion into emptiness continues forever. The example that I gave, birthing of universes earlier. So as divine beings become more and more divine, they can produce more and more universes, because this is on a continuum, really. The journey continues, the expansion continues. Okay. So one other thing I want to touch upon, to probably go into this a little bit is, so joy is laughter. So there's a whole section about what's laughter, what is joy. So I want to share some, I'll leave all the complex ones for you to read in the book. Let me share some funny easy ones. So the author asks Mother Lakshmi, he says, why does my family laugh so much when I visit them? And the answer is, your DNA is actually changing the environment. It's impacting them. When you are there, they end up laughing more. And this is just a note to the state of the author, Ananda Karunishi. He wasn't laughing so much, but then eventually, as he grew in his own spiritual journey, he found laughter. He laughs more. So absolutely, laughter, it has to be there in lives. And Mother Lakshmi says, make some time for laughter. And then the author asks something about this very book. He says, do you think this book is funny? And the mother again laughs by saying, oh, this is quite serious. So it's just worth reading some of those questions. It builds the context. I've certainly enjoyed it. I'm not quite sure whether I'm putting those things right across to you, but there are some good funny bits there as well. And also, the Lakshmi also says things like, to the author. She says, your mother's style of laughter is pretty much like this. Put the hand before the mouth, so no one sees how you're laughing. And that is all, again, it's all down to the patriarchal methods of taming, if you like, society putting lots of controls on how women should behave and all that. But Mother Lakshmi says, be free, just laugh naturally. And that eventually impacts your DNA as well. And Mother Lakshmi also tries to compare, Disneyland, something like a Disneyland, to a high spiritual place, because people are all laughing. They're having that pure joy, not in laughter, not laughter at the cost of someone else's loss. Not when somebody is on the floor. That's not what it is. But genuine laughter, pure, innocent laughter. Something we all need to learn from the kids, as Patriji says so many times. And I think I can probably stop there and see if there are any questions.
Yeah, thank you for that book review, Master. It's very
No
beautiful.
worries. Thank
I
you.
haven't started reading that, but I got that book and I will surely read that. And coming to your first question, you asked
Yeah.
uh, about Bhagavad Gita. Can you
Yeah.
please come up on that answer once again, please?
Yeah. So the answer is simply that, uh, the Bhagavad Gita came directly from the Lord Krishna himself. Wonderful conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. So in a way, this is not about comparing books and saying which book is great and all that, but just a loose comparison about, yes, this book also is similar knowledge imparted in a very direct conversation to the author. So that was my sort of inspiration of to try and compare, but not to create a hierarchy of books. Oh, this book is great, this book is not that. Just about putting all those divine wisdom imparting books into similar box, if you like. Does that answer your question, Meenaji?
I think this book, The Thousand Souls of Joy, has touched all the epics in a bit more way. What do we need
Yeah.
to get those all the books?
Yes, it does, because it talks about so many incarnations as well. There are so many incarnations of Mother Saraswati that we don't know. And I think if there aren't any other, are there any questions on chat, or I do have a few other points I can just describe.
We don't have any questions.
Okay, brilliant. That's fine. So one of the points Mother Lakshmi and Mother Saraswati say in this book is that they have created two religions of this world. Hinduism and Buddhism. It was created because of them, because of the various. They had a soul plan, if you like. The soul plan. Imagine a group of artists. I use the word artist because at the end of the day, a lot of what we are doing on the earth is all about it's all about training, a lot of practice before we go back to where we came from, right? So imagine Shiva, Parvati, Saraswati, Vishnu, and Brahma. They all have a cunning plan to create, to take the humanity from one level to another level. And they've taken so many incarnations, sometimes complementing each other, sometimes just supporting from the back end, really. Not we don't know what those incarnations were sometimes, unless the divine goddesses themselves make it available to the public domain. And this book is probably one such book. I don't think many people would would know, I think Guru Rinpoche or somebody from the Buddhism type of pantheon or religion. I think Mother Saraswati took quite a few incarnations in that side of the things, and of course, Hinduism, Buddhism as well. So they kept on improving their religions as well, and they kept on giving new dimensions to the humanity as needed at that very time. So yeah, so there's a lot of about the incarnations, and there's a lot of emphasis on the soul feelings, like I said, compassion and all these things. Those are the feelings we need to tap into, and the simple answer is, how do you tap into those? The simple answer, we all know, we all do that every day. Meditation. Meditation is the tool, in addition to other things that the author mentions, the chanting of the mantras and all that. But meditation is talked about so many times in the book. Okay, I think, is there a question on the chat? Oh yeah, no. Sorry.
Any questions?
Srimaniji, please ask.
Thank you, Vinodji, for the beautiful description of the book and the essence of it. Just one quick thing. I mean, you've mentioned there that we're all basically the same, just with little subtle differences.
Yeah.
Does the book say or throw any light on why do we have such varied experiences then? Like, somebody born as blind, or somebody being the queen of a country. I mean, what makes us live those different experiences? Does the book shed any light on that?
Yeah, I think it does go into a fair bit of detail. Why this whole contrast and all of that. I think the simple answer to that one is, like I said, over many lifetimes, we would all experience enough contrast. So in this particular lifetime, yes, there might be a blind person or a physically challenged person, but over many lifetimes we would have all done something similar. And also because of the lower vibrations, the karma does get accumulate, and we then live through that karma quite a bit, and eventually try and come out of it. So in terms of contrast, the book says, we have all experienced more or less similar types of karma. The book also talks about free will. Most of you would be aware of that type of the thing. And again, when Karna was not helping Draupadi at the time, it was his free will, but the soul path was for him to go to rescue and say, no, you're doing the wrong thing, and help Draupadi right there. But again, there is a free will which he chose at the time not to help, again because of his ego. You can see the impact of his actions down the line. Eventually he got killed on the for fighting for Duryodhana. I mean, I'm not saying getting killed is a punishment. That's not what I'm saying. But the enlightenment got delayed because of it. There's a lot of I would say fairly complex description of all these things. I think this is not like a story book which you could read in a few days. I think it's a bit of a journey. I think the book will probably grow on you as you read it, topic by topic, and probably do discussions as well as one. So that's my take on it. I think just to summarize, a lot of karma gets accumulated because that's what the soul is desiring for, and the nature of the karma in the grand scheme of things, does it even scale up? One person blind, one person limping, at a grand scale of being able to birth universes. The karma on the ground scale probably not so much at all. For us, being in a physical body will feel like, oh my God, that's so different. But if you look at it from that level of from a divine consciousness or the ability to birth universes, I think it's not so much of a difference.
Thank you, Vinodji.
Okay.